This hasn't been as long a week for you guys as it has been for me, but there's a little bit I knew going into this ball game that it was going to be a battle, and I'm not saying that everybody knew that or everybody knew what kind of week it was going to be. You know, our guys respected that, but this was one that, to be honest with you, I just knew it was going to be some version of a true battle and a fight. You never quite know exactly how things are going to turn out, and I think some people just assume that hey, your guys are going to blow out these first couple games and things are going to roll. But I had a good idea that we were going to be tested and tested in a different way. We got tested the first week. We got tested again this week. But I'm telling you that these are the things that continue to make us grow. These are the things that get you battle tested. I know there's a lot of things we want to look better at. There's a lot of things we want to be able to do. Creating turnovers defensively is just one of those things that, man, they haven't come, and it's our job to make them. But the first 2 weeks, those guys have done a really good job. That's a good football team. A lot of fifth and sixth year guys that are battle tested, and like I said, knew that they were going to give you some different things to make you have to work and grow. And another chance for us to grind it out in the fourth quarter and find a way. And it's weird. I can't put a finger on it just yet. Every team and every group and every year is obviously a little bit different, but there was more energy. I felt better and had more confidence and energy just from the guys around me after we got the stop in the red zone, after we fumbled the punt on the 4-yard line, get a targeting, give them another 3 or 4 plays, than even I did at halftime. And I don't know why, but it was still like we kicked a field goal last week going into halftime. We kicked a field goal this past week going into halftime, and it was almost like, for some reason, it was a letdown. And I can't put a finger on it. Again, you want to score points as you go into half. That's one of the biggest, things that, we've really put an emphasis on. And both of them, I think, in some ways have not been a positive for us. So there's some things we got to do a little bit better job of, in particular that coming out to start the second half. But we grew up even more today. And there's 3 guys that I brought up there real quick after the game, and they all 3 are new guys, but new in different ways. And Tyler Van Dyke, who obviously is an older guy, but new to our team and program, and really, really think he's continuing to take some steps. And Tackett Curtis was a guy that had to go in. He had played earlier, but had to go in there in a really, really tough situation. And I think we really saw what Tackett Curtis is made of tonight, this afternoon. And then Xavier Lucas, who was a guy that's played a bit. Obviously, you saw him last week, but played a little bit, but had to go in a little bit when Nye got dinged and had to stay in. And 3 guys in 3 different kind of situations that all had an incredible impact on that game today.
Questions?
Chz Malzahn really went through the ringer last season. What's your reaction to seeing him come back and to have such an important impact today in this game?
I think I said it in the post game. Sometimes you talk about young guys growing up, and Chz is a 6th-year guy. I think that I've seen grow up more, I think, in the last month or so than I've seen in the year and a half that I've been here. And I just mean that, like, everybody knows you got to battle through injuries and things like that happen in football. It stinks. But a lot of the other emotional things that he's had to go through, the ups and the downs, and I think I've seen him at his best, today and this past week, and even last week as the things that he had to, kind of handle, and where he's grown. I mean, like I said, I talked about some younger guys. Now they've grown. Here's a guy that's been in the program, been in college for 6 years, and continues to grow. And it's the best I've seen him. And I don't just mean playing. I just mean as a leader, as a guy that can provide some energy and a guy that can provide some spark. And it's a great reminder to us, especially us that understand that this landscape of college football is changing, that even the older ones can truly grow and continue to grow.
Cool.
Luke, you guys went back and forth between the 2-man front on the defensive line and the 3-man. Do you feel like you need to go more 3-man to help against some of the rushes?
Yeah, we definitely. Again, I thought that they would, play us a little bit bigger, and be in more, 2-3 tight ends, and so we had, obviously had planned and prepared to play with those guys a lot more, but that some of the different things that they were doing early on with 3 backs in the backfield, they are a challenge, and I mean that, like, they're similar to some of the, the Iowas of the world that do some unique things running the football, but they're as creative in the run game, as anybody that I've played. And I think that's where their kind of uniqueness is in what they do, and they do a really good job at it. And so it does make it difficult in some of your preparations to, the different kind of personnels and things that they're going to do. And I think that's something we got to continue to figure out how we can, best fit some of those things. But yeah, there were some of those little gaps in the kind of like the week before.
Luke, just you mentioned Jake and the targeting call. What was your take on that? What did
Look, they had a guy thrown out of the game, and I just still think we're wrong in college football. And I'll look everybody in the face and I'll like we're wrong in college football to throw kids out of games. I mean, their kid gets thrown out of the game. Last week, the kid got thrown out of the game. This week, I'm not just saying that because Jake Chaney got thrown out of the game. Like at some point in time, we try to adopt all these things that the NFL does, but yet we throw out kids that get 12 guaranteed games to us, to things that aren't malicious. I'm not saying that taking the head out of the game is not what we need to do. We'll penalize us and things like that. But to throw kids out of a game, I think it's the wrong thing. I've said that for a couple years. They don't listen, so they continue to hold to their roles. But it's unfortunate. It's a bang bang kind of play. I tell you the truth, I did not even see it. I guess it's his head in the stomach, and that's probably the first time I've ever seen a guy thrown out of the game for hitting a guy in the stomach with his helmet. But to the letter of the law, I'm sure it's it is what it is. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one to swallow. It's a tough one on a kid like Jake Chaney who works so darn hard. And I just say it again. I don't think kids should be thrown out of football games.
Luke, with Kade, I know we talked about him recently, but just how have you seen him just do what he's been able to do in his first?
Kade might be one of the most unselfish kids we have in this program, and from about the middle of the spring ball on, Kade has done nothing but impress every single coach and every single player in that locker room. He starts on 3 special teams. He would start on all 4 special teams. He I'm not saying he takes a back seat, but I mean, there's Chz Malzahn and the slew of Tywee and the slew of other running backs that everybody talks about, and the young kids. And there's Kade, who just continues to battle and fight and work and takes every role that you give him and just accelerates at it. And he's a heck of a running back. All of a sudden in the Tackett Curtis's, obviously starting the middle linebacker, and one of the last kickoffs, hey, we need a guy, we got to get put Kade in. And so that means Cade's on all 4 special teams, yet he's still running the football. So he's an integral part of what it is we do, but he's even a better leader and example to what the selfless nature of what we need to continue to put forward this team is really about.
Jesse, on the left.
Look, I realize you'd probably like a day to celebrate this win, but how ready do you think your team is for Alabama?
Well, how ready are you, right? I mean, again, every game is different. I mean, we're not going to. I mean, yeah, it's the top team in college football in the last 20 years. I mean, you guys knew it. It was daunting. It's been hanging over top of your head from the time you walked in the door here. But it's also to say, hey, you got to find a way to continue to measure yourself, right? And it doesn't mean that you didn't measure yourself in the first couple of weeks. You're challenged incredibly, but you'll be challenged in a completely different way, and we'll find out where we are. And I think that's probably the thing about these guys that I'm learning and getting a feel even better, week in and week out, that they do love challenges. They handle them in different ways, but we know darn well what's walking in here, and we haven't had our guys practicing for them and things like that. We had enough work to be able to make sure we were on the right page and finding ways to win the first couple games, but it'll be a heck of a week for us.
In the back, the cameras.
With the Big Ten schedule coming up and Alabama, as you mentioned, battle tested, would you rather have a game like this where you grind it out?
When it's all said and done, yeah, there's things you learn about your crew. When you battle like this too, you also get some injuries, and we had some guys go down today, and other guys had to step up. So twofold, yeah, I do think that you grow from these things, but you also got to continue to build confidence, and that's where every group is a little bit different. And like I told you, we turned the ball over on the 4-yard line. we get a huge stop in 8 plays or whatever it was, 7 plays, and all of a sudden I felt better about the sideline and the energy and the emotion, the confidence level than I did probably the entire game. And so those are the things that you continue to build on. And you can't write the script. Yeah, you'd love to say every week would have been really smooth, and every guy got the amount of runs and touches and plays he had a chance to get. But the best way to grow is to go through adversity.
Colton in the front.
Luke, as a defensive coach, is it frustrating at times when you aren't getting some of those maybe TFLs or some of those run stops that you feel like you're scheming up for? Like, how do you kind of assess the first couple of weeks where it seemed a little more?
Yeah, the run game has been something that's, and into the boundary, and really it's been the stretch play the both weeks. It's been the same play that has caused us more issues. And this week was a little bit different. There's some two-back stuff that everybody around here has been used to seeing for a long time that you just don't see as much in college football, and that's why I said it was different in some ways. And so give them credit, they did a really good job with that, but we've got to do a better job at making sure that we don't put ourselves in those situations where it's 4 or 5, 6 yards sometimes on first down. We were better in the other situations, but the first down ones probably what made us have the most issues.
Go ahead, Jim.
You said something in your intro that was interesting about people assuming that you're just going to roll through this game and be the last game. Why shouldn't people assume that will happen?
Because if you assume, you make out of both you and me, right? So why not? I mean, that's not what we do, so you guys can do as you please, but I think that's just kind of the realities of what we have to deal with every single day. And we can't write the scripts. Winning's not easy. Don't get me wrong, guys. I mean, we all have a vision of what it is that we want it to look like, and if there's anybody that loses more sleep over, I promise you didn't have as long a week as I did. And not saying that there aren't other things that are going on, but you have a plan, and you got to be able to adapt and adjust. And I'll give our guys credit for that. That with the adversity, it's given you an opportunity to learn how to adapt and adjust, and challenge yourself a lot more.
Couple more, Mark.
On your last touchdown, the one Chz scored, I mean, you could have went for the kick, kick the field goal and went up by 2 possessions. Can you talk about that decision and why you decided to go that route?
What would you have done?
You really
it's not the it works, right? But no, it's a tough decision, to be honest with you. But deep down inside, if we can't run the ball in, if we can't score from the inside the 1 yard line, then I don't know that you deserve to win. And I know there's a time of being aggressive and there's a time of being smart. But to be honest with you, I had the utmost confidence in those guys up front. I know the play before we got stopped inside the 1 as well. But if you're not rolling the dice, if you're taking, who you're going to put the pressure on, I'm going to put the pressure on the offensive line, and I'm going to give them the opportunity. And that was a no-brainer. But as we're going up to the line, I am kind of pinching myself, and just to make sure, okay, you said you want to be aggressive, you said you're going to put it on the offensive line, you said this is who you want to be, well, then you got to hold true to what it is that you say you're going to be, because as like you said, we all have this vision. If you can't go back in that locker room and say you want to be something different on every other day, and so as much as anything, that sticks in my head, that we trust those guys up front.
Carly?
Luke, you talked a lot about just taking advantage of the home crowd. How do you feel like your team did today, especially with next week? I assume that's going to be big.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great atmosphere. It was a great crowd. We kind of told them before the game, it's our job to make sure that there's energy and emotion in the stadium. That's not everybody else's job. It's not, the student section's got to get there. It's us, and the way we come out and the way we, attack and be aggressive. And I thought we did a really good job of that. I mean, offense did a really good job in the first couple of drives, and I thought we got the thing rolling, and it was really good. And again, the late in the game, when you need them the most, maybe the crowd, maybe the students kind of started to venture off a little bit. But no, it was a great atmosphere. I think our guys, understand that it's a two-way street, right? We want them there, we want them screaming and hollering, but we have a job to do to make sure that we give them what they want to see, so we can create this home field advantage.
Last one, Colton.
Luke C.J. Williams had his first college touchdown, almost had a second one. How have you seen him over the year plus you got to know him kind of deal with maybe some of the frustration, not getting the same run that he maybe wanted,
Yeah.
but then not
Yeah,
getting
it's
some
the
of those
same
runs?
thing we have, right? I mean, every kid walking in here's got a vision of what it is. He's coming from USC. He's coming from one of the top programs in high school. He's coming from all this hype and different things like that. And things don't always go the way you envision and the way you plan. And if you can't handle, finding different ways and battling through some of these things, especially in this game today, you won't be successful. And I'll give him credit. I mean, even in that first year, I'm sure it didn't go the way he envisioned, and even the start of the season. But he's a guy that's very consistent in what he does. We ask our guys more than anything to be consistently good, not occasionally great. And if you can really truly believe in that, and you can every single day kind of have that in your heart, like at some point in time you have a chance to be great. He's a guy that is consistently really good, and he'll continue to get better, and he'll have a bigger and bigger role for us, I think, each and every week.
Thank you, Coach.